I have an Onan HGJAB 5500 and I am having problems with surging. It seems to run best under heavy load, but while running with half to no load it surges. I have replaced the carb with a brand new one, replaced spark plugs, fuel filter and fuel pump. I have also inspected gas lines and throttle linkages. I can get the generator to run okay at no load only after running the genset under heavy load and turning everything off. I have done my best to adjust the governor and throttle stop with a frequency and voltmeter. I do not have a load bank. Under heavy load I keep a steady 113 to 115 volts and 59 to 60 hertz. During the surging the frequency fluctuates from 60 to 63. The manual states that 62 to 63 is good for no load situations. On the rare occasion that it does not surge under no load my frequency is a steady 63 Hz. The generator also goes to surging when you change load but slowly levels out after a few minutes. I'm seeking expert advice before I take the genset to someone to adjust on and dumping a lot of money into shop labor.
Hello, my name is I am going to assist you with this. Surging is caused by a lean condition. This is most often due to a fuel restriction, but can also be caused by an air leak in the intake system. Since you have installed a new carburetor, the first thing you need to do is test the intake for a leak. Even a minute leak can cause problems. If no leak is found, then you most likely have the governor misadjusted. Although it is possible to adjust a governor without a load bank, it is very difficult, as you can't control the load very well. A lot of people think using the AC is good for load testing, but it is not. An AC is constantly varying amp draws, and it makes it impossible to set a governor. A resistive load is best.
If no leaks are found, how should I go about adjusting the governor if my frequency and volt readings are within their limits? In the manual it states to adjust the throttle stop screw to 51 to 53 Hz on a 60 Hz gen set under absolutely no load. The procedure states to hold the throttle lever down and adjust the screw until the frequency stated is obtained. My problem is I can't get to the screw while the carb is mounted to the intake. Also, holding the throttle lever down while it's connected to the governor immediately shuts down the genset. This is the only adjustment I have not been able to attain. I am puzzled by this because sometimes the genset will run fine and most of the time it will not.
The throttle stop screw is merely to keep the genset from running below its specified RPM. It has nothing to do with surging. In addition to frequency, there is also another adjustment called droop. It is what requires the use of a load bank. Droop is a measurement of how low voltage goes and how long until it recovers when specific size loads are added to and removed from the genset. Some people call it a sensitivity adjustment. Droop is measured at no load, at 50% load, and at 100% load.
Going back to the fuel restriction causing a surging issue, I don't think I have a fuel restriction because the generator runs perfect under a heavy load and stays between 115 to 120 volts at 60 to 63 Hz. Under heavy load the system would have a big demand for fuel, correct? And it is supplying enough fuel for that big load. What would cause the genset to run perfect under heavy load and surge with no load? Also, would it be a good idea to remove the altitude adjustment stop and adjust it to a richer mixture?
There are several passageways inside the carburetor. There is a low-speed circuit, a transition circuit, and a high-speed circuit. It is very possible for there to be a restriction in only one circuit, but not the other two. In this case, it is possible that you have a restriction in either the low speed or transition circuit, but the high speed circuit is fine. An air leak at the intake or a misadjusted governor are the other two possibilities.
The carb may have just 4 hours of run time on ethanol-free fuel. I'm not so certain it would already be gummed up. After replacing the carb, I made sure to exercise the genset once a month for 30 minutes as suggested, under a heavy load. From everything I'm gathering, it seems I am going to have to take it to have it professionally adjusted. I have it adjusted in the correct parameters to the best of my ability. Even when surging, the HC and voltage readings are still within spec. Is there any other advice you can give me? So far it seems that I should check for an air leak. Is there anything else you would try?
You need to check for an air leak first. But don't rule out the carb. I have had a few brand new out of the box that were bad, because they were not treated properly, or at all, straight from the factory. It is very rare, but it does happen. Assuming no air leak, and you do have to take it in, it should not take over about 15 minutes to adjust the governor.
If you have a home improvement or appliance question and want to chat with an expert now, visit justanswer.com/ythi.